back to Vegas Live with Ninon. Well, we're having a fun day today. Obviously, we're down at Peppermill, and I have Kevin with me. How are you, Dauphinee? How are you?
I'm doing great, man.
Are you doing great?
I'm doing wonderful.
He always does. He always does great. I've known Kevin for many, many years, and he's in the money business, which I kind of like. You kind of shift funds around, and you take care of people that don't know how to take care of their money.
Yeah, I try to help them out and steer them in the right direction, really.
What is the right direction now in this money thing? It's
I think first of all is diversification. Diversification is what it's all about. Whenever especially for retirees or people that are approaching their retirement, they've accumulated a good deal of wealth, and how they take care of that as they go forward, because there's going to come to a point where they're not going to earn any more money. They're going to have to live off.
They've got to live off whatever they've saved or whatever they've got. You've got some people that have saved a lot. You've got some people that haven't probably saved anything, and they've got to get sorted out. Sure. And then you've got other people where maybe the husband's died, and then the woman's left with the money, and she hasn't quite ever been sort of involved in it.
It's happened more than once.
So financially, you have to kind of help them sort that. Not problem, because nothing like having enough money to sort out.
Well, that's where you put it. Really, is the challenge for any retiree or a widower, irrespective of who is actually managing the money. Mm-hmm. Because when you get into retirement, how do you deal with tax? That's probably the greatest challenge. What my practice is based on four legs of the table. It's trust or estate planning, investments, how you invest in securities or real estate or anything like that, and then taxes are really interactive among all those first three, and then insurance. Insurance is just such a big part of a portfolio that people don't understand.
Is that because insurance now is so high? I mean, it seems to get higher and higher and higher.
Well, it depends on what insurance. If you're talking about automobile or medical insurance, that's a different kind of insurance. Yes. But when I talk about insurance as a buffer asset, which is cash value life insurance, really works well as a sleeve of that total portfolio. And it's not for everybody, but for folks especially. One of the things that I've coached a number of my clients that are in retirement, they have grandchildren. I have a grandchild. And what we've done is take a small amount and put it into a policy for as much as 20 years or as little as 7 years, and then you can fund the kid's future. For instance, I saw my son and daughter-in-law policy where they put $200 a month in for 20 years. Now they're in their 30s, so they can.
They've got plenty of time, and then they can afford $200.
Sure, $200 is that's a Starbucks.
But over 20 years.
Well, what happens is they put in for 200
a month.
200 a month for in 1 year is $2,400.
$2,400 a year.
That's $48,000 over 20 years. At that time, that's worth $60,000 as cash value. By the way, that's tax-free available from that policy. So the next step is, you can take some of that money out, pay for school loans, pay it back. When the child is 32, 33, they might be thinking about buying a home. Now they've got about $125,000 in cash value. Take some of that out for down payment.
For a house and everything else.
Right. So
it's funny how you're talking, Kevin, because I don't remember. My mother and father had 5 kids. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember them ever saving any insurance or anything for us when we got older. Yeah. That didn't happen in those days. Yeah. Those days they didn't kind of have all these, when I pass away, I'm going to be able to give my granddaughter or my daughter or my son, I've got like a legacy to leave them, and they've got money. Sure. Why do we feel that we have to do that? Well, is it just a conscious thing of leaving something that...
Well, one of the interesting aspects of grandparenthood is, I've accumulated reasonable amount of wealth. And what I'd like to do is be able to pass that to a generation. Yes. What you won't be able to do is pass it tax-friendly to the generation.
This is where the tax thing comes in.
And that's how cash value life insurance works for that $200 a month for 20 years. When that child reaches retirement age, guess how much money they have in that account? After 20 years,
we hope how much money they have.
No, it's there. It's guaranteed to be close to this amount.
What happens if they want to spend it before that?
You can borrow from it and pay it back, or you can borrow from it and not pay it back, and the cash value will go down.
It goes down.
Yeah. And the death benefit goes down.
Okay.
But at 65, with the scenario of a young child, a couple of years old, 20 years, by the time they're 65, they have close to $600,000 worth of cash.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
accumulated.
See, that to me is amazing. I always say, for when somebody's younger, you know, so anywhere from 25 and up, start thinking about saving, even if it's just 100 a month, or even if it's 50 a month. It's one of the great, because you don't really miss it.
Yeah, it's it's really family planning in a financial way, and it's a great way of assuring a child's well-being in the future. The other thing is, people always ask me, hey, what stock should I buy? I don't like to direct people to an individual stock.
I was going to ask you, Kevin, what stock can you kind of give me? I need a stock. I'm going to make some money on.
There are smarter guys than me that are doing this business, and I try to learn from the experts. Warren Buffett has said, buy the index and hold it as long as you possibly can. So we can go back 90 years and look at the S&P 500, which is 500 of the best companies in America. So the S&P 500, while it has gone up and down over the last 90 years, the average increase is 10%. So
where can you make 10% on your money?
So this is the thing.
So it's always having an edge of making money or with your money.
Well, what you try to do is play the averages, because it turns out that the smartest money managers in the United States, only 10 to 15% of them will beat the index in any 1 year. They'll beat the S&P 500. So 15%, how do you know you picked the 1 out of 6 or 7 that's going to do that?
Yes.
That's really tough. So the other side of it is you want to have control the costs. So over the past 25, 30 years, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, have been brought on the market. Very, very low cost of ownership, and they buy the index. And it's a great buy-and-hold strategy. Now, smart investors or smart advisors will counsel their clients to have a bit of passive management and a bit of active management to balance.
So they don't like all their money in one basket. They like to actually sort it around.
Diversification.
In case this goes down, this will gain here, so they don't really lose.
Well, the typical diversification is large capitalized companies like, say, Microsoft, General Motors, things like that. Then some mid caps, things like smaller companies that are in the sort of the $10 to $20 billion range.
Yes.
And then the small caps, the Russell 2000 is a really great space, and smart people are saying that small caps will probably do a little bit better this year
than they've done before.
Than the larger companies. The other thing is having an international exposure. You got to have, it's a global world.
It is now.
Yeah, having a piece of Europe, having a piece of Asia. That's really important.
It's really how it works now. It's not just being in one country anymore. It's,
if you buy a Ford, there's 60% of it is composed of parts that are made overseas outside the United States. So those are the kinds of things.
That's how it is.
Sure.
Are you in the stock market?
I am. Yeah.
You are in the stock market.
Exchange-traded funds. Yeah. I sell what I eat.
I saw what I eat. Could you explain that one?
I like to be, I like to be consistent. Exchange-traded funds that are, V00, VOO, the Vanguard. S&P 500 is one that I subscribe to. A number of others that are like that, but index funds are great for me. It turns out that for individual stocks, an advisor must put 6 hours of due diligence into that specific stock to understand supply chain, executives, competition.
Don't just go out there and buy a stock.
No.
Start researching. Funny, I have somebody in South Carolina who probably listening said, I don't know where you are. I hope you're watching. If you're not, I'm going to be upset. But he helps me with this. He'll send me stocks. He'll send me different things that Ninon, take a look at this. And he's very much involved in it. But he kind of buys and sells. He's young enough anyway to do that. But he buys and sells and makes, 600, 2,000, whatever the case may be, 10,000, I don't know.
Well, that's also a great strategy, part of diversification. So you have, let's say you hold a substantial portion of your holdings in these exchange-traded funds and these index funds, and then have a sleeve over here to play with, and maybe be opportunistic with a company that maybe like a Tesla or an Alphabet, Google, that type of thing, that has a bit of an edge.
But I think what I love about what you're saying is to make it fun. make it interesting and make it fun. Because that's what life, you can have all the money in the world. And I know a lot of wealthy people that are so miserable, you know, they're counting their money, or they don't know what to do, or they're just not happy because they've got too much money. And sometimes you can have too much.
And it's owning the things that you like and the things that you do. Like,
enjoy them.
If you have an Apple computer or an iPhone, buy a few Apple stocks. Why not?
Yes,
that's not a bad place
not
to
a
be.
bad place to be, and to buy that.
Warren Buffett just invested, I think, $40 billion in Apple recently. So that's
he never gives up. And this guy, Warren Buffett, he's in his 80s, 90s. He's got to be up there. He's always in his 80s. We've got to be approaching his 90s.
It must be.
Now, Kevin, I want to ask you one question. You were in the communications department for many, many years.
Yes.
And sort of, you know, this is what you kind of saw, television business.
For 35 years.
For 35 years. Do you miss it? And has it changed? It's obviously changed a lot because there's internet now.
Extraordinarily. Just last month I was at the National Association of Broadcasters Convention here in Las Vegas, and that was my 41st NAB. I've been to these things going back to the 70s, and the technology has changed drastically. It's a lot less fun today than it was before because we only had 3 or 4 stations to watch, and we were meticulous in how perfect broadcast quality
I remember those days.
Today, broadcast quality really doesn't have much meaning. It's actually taken over by some of the pay channels like Showtime and HBO. Some of the dramas are just extraordinary, and to see those in 4K and high definition is just it's out of this world.
It's just a completely different world. I happen to love the progression of life. I love change, but at the same time, I used to love the intricacy that we would put into something and the love and the passion. Now it's a little bit. It seems like anybody now can put something out there. You know, like I'm anybody, and I'm out there.
Facebook Live, you see it every day.
Yes.
Friends are posting.
Because I love Facebook, and I love YouTube, I love all these, because that's where we go. So I love that. Thank you, YouTube, and thank you, Facebook, and thank you, everybody, because it's amazing. Well, how can people reach you? Because if they want financial, you know, if you want financial help, it doesn't matter how small it is or how large it is. Kevin will help you.
Absolutely.
Yes, doesn't matter.
Myself and my team we can work with people who have no money and give them a little bit of coaching, no charge, and say, this is a path you might want to consider taking.
Absolutely. So isn't that nice?
We don't sell stuff. We make recommendations and say, this is something you might want to consider, and provide a couple of options. But how to get in touch? Easiest way is my website, KevinDauphinee.com. So KevinDauphinee.com. Or I'm available at New York Life's office here in Las Vegas at Rainbow and Sunset.
Fabulous. So, it's always good to have you. You know, I love having Kevin on because it really diverts you a little bit, but at the same time, if you think about people in the music industry, they also have a financial status going on. I mean, you've got some that don't have that much money, you've got some that have a little, and then you've got some that have got a lot of money. So that you're always needed.
Sure, I have a few performing clients, and you know, we do great work together.
That's wonderful, because they do need help, because they're more in the entertainment business, and they don't really take care of their
left brain, right brain thing.
Left brain, right brain. I don't. What am I? Am I left brain or right? I don't know what I am.
You're creative brain. I'm an analytical. So whichever that is, I don't know whether it's left or right.
Whichever's not. Well, that's why we get on so well together. Kevin's been a friend of mine for many, many years. Absolutely marvelous guy. And I often phone him and say, I need a help on this or help on that or something, and it's absolutely wonderful. Always a pleasure having him as a guest.
My calls too, don't I, darling?
Yes, you do. You always return them. Either I get a return call or I get an email, but I always get something. Always. More than I can say to a few people out there. I won't mention names because that would be awfully rude of me, wouldn't it?
Oh, we want that. That's not you, though.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back with our next guest. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Dom.